All right, my fellow financial analysts, let us continue on with case 4. There's more to us than meets the eye. And I hope y'all can see these numbers up here on the board. So let's move on to question 3. Using common size statements, help Scott present an appraisal of the company's performance and financial condition vis-a-vis its key competitors. So I've created another tab. Let's go ahead and rename that tab Common Size. All right, and in this worksheet, I simply copied our financial statements over, okay? And so let's go through the process of creating common size statements. So let's insert a column here, and a column here, and a column here, and we'll go ahead and call this 2003 and 2004 and 2005. All right, now let us divide each item into sales equals that divided into sales. And we're going to call it a percentage and take it out a couple of spots there. All right. And then let's anchor, so it's B4 divided by B3. Let's anchor B3. Let's see. And now we should be able to simply scroll this down. There we have it. All right. Now we can copy this here and here and change this to D. Scroll down. We didn't have to copy all of it. Boom. All right. Change this to F. There we go. And scroll it down here. All right. And so we can get a sense now. Let's go ahead and blow this up a little bit. Let's just look at the income statement for the time being. Okay, so let's take a look and see what's going on. So our cash operating costs are going up, okay? Jumped way up in 2004, which means our margin moved way down. Big problem in 2004. And our margin continued to move down again in 2005. Boy, that's ugly. All right, our depreciation, which is related to sales, but it's really more related to property, plant, and equipment, has trended down. Our operating costs have jumped way up in 2004, and that's because of the gross margin, and seem to balance out or stabilize in 2005. Our operating margin has been cut significantly, and this looks, this is the kind of ratio analysis we were doing in question 2. All right, but what we're looking for are trends. So let's put another column in here, and let's call it 2006 E estimate. All right, let's do a CAGR of sales. equals this divided by that raised to the 1 over 2 minus 1. And we're going to have to put a parentheses here. And probably a parentheses here. See if it doesn't. And let's go ahead and turn that into a percentage here. And now, let's see, so something's off, right, y'all? Yeah, something's off. So F3 divided by B3 raised to the, let's go ahead and turn that into a 0.5. Let's see if that changes it. There we go. Okay. Let's double check that with our calculators just to make sure, so we have different ways we can do it. But let's take, where's my calculator? There it is. Figure that out. Let's take 28,255 times 1.391 equals times 1.391 equals, and yes, so that works out fine, 54,670, that's right. So, the compound average growth rate is 39% over the last 2 years, okay? So, let's go ahead and use that to get our sales estimate for next year. So equals 2005's number times 1 plus our CAGR up equals instead of plus. Boom. And let's double click on that, and there is our estimate. Now, different ways we can do this, but it looks to me, let's look at trend analysis. So what percentages are we going to put in here for cash operating costs? And it went from 79 to 86 up to 87. So let's go ahead and stabilize this at 87% equals this times 0.87. And let's turn this into a dollar number. All right. And gross profit is equal to sales minus cost of goods sold. So there's our gross profit. And depreciation has been going down about 1.5% a year, and of course we could divide depreciation into, we haven't found what our net fixed assets are going to be down here yet, but let's go ahead and let's take it down another percent equals sales times, let's take it down 0.5%. Let's take it down to 6% of sales. Depreciation is 6% of sales. All right. So total operating costs is the depreciation. So we're going to take gross profit minus depreciation. Let's see, 51 is that, 57 plus that. So we've got gross profit plus cash operating costs equals cash operating costs plus depreciation is that, and then our EBIT is equal to our sales minus our total operating costs, and so we have 5.23. Let's go ahead and box all that up there. Bada bing, bada bum, bada boom. There we go. Our interest expense, again, is related to loans. We'll go ahead and estimate it, and let's leave it at 1.14%, equals that times that, and turn that into a dollar figure, and it's equal to our EBIT minus our interest expense. And our taxes have been running about 2% of sales, so equals that times, let's go ahead, I feel okay using 2.17% there of sales. Of course, the taxes are related to taxable income, not to sales. And our net income is equal to that minus that. And our preferred dividend is really let's go ahead and turn this into a payout ratio, and that's equal to that divided by net income. And let's copy that there, and let's copy that there. Let's see what happened here. That is D13 divided by D12, and this should be F13 divided by F12 equals F13 divided by F12. There we go. Okay. So let's go ahead and use 10% for our preferred dividend, equals that, times that 10% of our net income, and now equals 0.1 times that. There we go. Put that back down there. Okay. And then equals our net income minus our preferred dividend, and that's what it should look like. Roughly. So this is a rough right here, and let's go ahead and divide these numbers into the industry just to see what that looks like. Let's go ahead. There we go. And let's anchor this one right here. And we can scroll it down here. And this is equal to J13 divided by J12. Here's the payout ratio. All right, so you can see the industry. So look, is paying out far less in preferred dividends. Probably several of these companies don't have preferred stocks. All right, so again, our cash operating costs are lower for the industry. Our gross profit is higher. Our depreciation is lower for the industry. Total operating costs lower for the industry. EBIT margin higher for the industry. Interest expense is higher for the industry. That's interesting. I'm sorry, untrue. Yeah, a little bit higher. Sorry, I was looking at the wrong line. Taxable income, much higher for the industry. The tax rate, taxes and percentage of sales, a little bit higher. The net margin higher. Preferred dividend payout ratio is lower. net income available. The net income margin is higher for the industry. All right, so now we have a sense of what the income statement is going to look like. So let us convert the balance sheet into a percentage of sales. And so we'll go out there like that, like that, like that. Go ahead and box this up here. Okay, so equals that divided by sales up here, and turn that into a percentage. And let's go ahead and anchor this number right here, and go ahead and move this all the way down here. Okay, we can do that. All right, so that all matches up. All right, now let's copy this here. Whoops. Copy, paste. All right, and let's change this from B to D. So that's cash divided by sales in 2004. Let's scroll that down. And then let's do it one more time. Let's copy this here, there, and let's turn D into F. Sales, so cash divided by sales in 2005. And let's scroll that down. And we should be good to go. There, okay. Now, so what we've just done is we've divided each line item into sales for their respective years. And so now we have 2000, now we can do 2006 E. Okay? Box that up there. And let's go ahead and format this here just like so. Actually, we don't want it as percentage. We're going to want it as dollars. So let's go ahead and grab that and we'll format it there like so. Okay. Now, let's use this number here and these numbers here to look at our balance sheet. What do we think our balance sheet is going to look like? So, cash has been declining a little bit, and so let's take this to, we think cash will be equal to that times our sales number. So we're going to go ahead and stabilize cash there, and we'll anchor that right there. So that should be our cash number. And now we're going to look over, and marketable securities have fallen quite a bit. We can go ahead and stabilize that there. Accounts receivable looks like it's coming back. So our turnover ratio. So let's go ahead and say this is equal to our sales number times 7%. Looks like this number has continued to go down. We'll stabilize it, and so we'll go ahead and copy this number here to here, So what we're saying is sales times 11% is our inventory number. And let's go ahead and add these up. Okay, and there are current assets, and our net fixed assets have jumped down as a percentage of sales. Let's stabilize that number. Let's go ahead and do the industry just to see how we're doing compared to the industry. Okay, and then let's anchor this number right here. This is the sales number, F4. We got that. Let's drag this down. I want to be able to compare the company's numbers with our number, with the industry numbers. And so we've got 6.87 for accounts receivable, 11%. So we're looking kind of in line. 32% versus 22%. I don't know, let's take this to maybe 30%. Equals our sales number times 0.3. Now, if we were doing this in real life, we'd have to visit with management about the trends in these numbers and what management is planning for. Okay? We're making some assumptions here, like we're assuming this is net fixed assets will fall to 30% of sales. All right, and so our total assets equal to our current assets plus our net fixed assets, and we have 38,205. Now, our accounts payable number has dropped down, and let's continue to drop that down, and we'll kind of cut the difference, meet in the middle there, and we'll say that is 0.9 times our sales number. And our accruals still have a ways to go. Let's say this 0.011, 1.1%. We'll continue to bring that down times our sales number. Again, these are guesstimates, folks. Okay. Our notes payable, we're going to leave it there. It's right in line, so we'll say that times our sales number. Current liabilities, we'll sum those up. Something looks off, and it's going to be, this number right here is way off. So this is equals 0.009 times our sales number.